Okay, Dear Dane, this is part 2 of the Studio Ghibli marathon, and I've watched 1991's Only Yesterday, 1992's Porco Rosso, and 1994's Pom Poko. And yeah, I feel like these 3 films did kind of bring in a little bit of Studio Ghibli fatigue. I think the first 4 films had a lot of like childhood whimsical elements in them, and these 3 films, well, Only Yesterday definitely sort of has childhood whimsical elements to it, but I feel like Porco Rosso and Pom Poko were very different in that regard. So probably the last 2 films have were kind of harder to watch. I think is where I sort of stood with it all. But if I start with 1991's Only Yesterday, I actually didn't mind this film. I thought this was all right. I really liked whenever they sort of
The childhood was the better piece.
the childhood was the better stuff. Her on the farm. I mean, it all made sense. It all sort of came around and made sense as to what it was sort of saying. I kind of liked how it was really a story about not everyone has to be a genius. Not everyone, like everyone finds their own skills and talents. Like she's a good actress, but she never sort of got that opportunity. But then she sort of never really regrets that she didn't get this sort of childhood fame. I like that she felt comfortable on the land, which seems like such a, like it actually, I feel like that sort of moral messaging is sort of lost a little bit today about, farmers are always sort of looked down upon, I think, in modern society. Like that's peasant work. And she doesn't see it that way. She sort of sees that way of being in touch with nature. So I thought that was actually quite touching. And that's probably because as someone who's lived on a farm, I could completely relate to that aspect. She also didn't like onions, which I could completely relate to that aspect.
Oh yeah, so much in common.
So I thought this film was fine. I think it just perhaps, I don't know if it was a little slow.
Yeah,
The pacing was maybe just a bit not as tight, and it was every time they sort of went back to the farm story that it wasn't as interesting as the childhood stuff. But overall, I did like it. But when we did watch it, I did sort of say, I think my first comment that I sort of said was like, I think this is the one I don't like the most. But I'm tossing up on my list as to where I would have actually put this. And I still have to sort of think actually where I would put this on the list. But I didn't mind it. Like I think overall it's a very nice story. I think I could see how it appealed. I believe like it had a really good like it was quite a hit with teenage girls, and you can sort of see that because I think it is a story about sort of individuality, which was again, it was quite nice. And you've got all the sort of like, I think it's also a good depiction of Japan's culture too, of like, that sort of, the parent that's not going to let you do something, and that sort of strict regime, that, wearing the slippers inside, all that comes into it too. So there was a lot of stuff that I think you can kind of from a cultural perspective take from that film also. Yeah, but overall I quite liked it. I think it worked well, but it was a little long. So moving on, I think when we get now to Porco Rosso from 1992, this is where I felt there was a sort of slip in quality of Studio Ghibli films. It still looks great. Still, from like an artistical point of view, it still looks fantastic. But the quality lacked in the writing.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
It's so weird that the child like breaks the spell.
Yes, the child breaks. There's an odd there's an oddity with this film where it does feel a little inappropriate. And it reminds me of the film, I'm just trying to think of it now off the top of my head, with Natalie Portman and Jean. What's that film called?
In English, I don't remember. The Specialist? No.
It's not The Specialist.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's. I think the director got into a bit of trouble too because like they've sort of looked at him and Leon the Professional.
Oh, Leon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not
Leon.
special,
Leon.
It's a professional.
Yeah. Where he kind of makes a couple of remarks to the young girl, and it's a bit, oh, sweet cheeks, oh, you pretty face, you kind of like if you were older or something. He makes a couple of remarks that are a bit like, ooh. Like, this is an animated film that children are going to watch. So I did find that a bit jarring. The other thing, too, is, like, I feel like at that period, like in 1992, there were a lot of films about that kind of old, nostalgic kind of, like, they're sort of trying to portray, like, old kind of Casablanca-type filmmaking where it's very much, like, post-war heroes and sort of cigar-smoking men in jackets and fedora hats.
Oh yeah, in the bar.
Yeah, like there was The Shadow with Alec Baldwin, and there was like The Rocketeer, Dick Tracy. Like those movies were all in the early 90s, and I feel like the early 90s had this desire to kind of do these throwbacks to old 1940s cinema, and this feels very much in line with that, which is interesting. Like it's an interesting idea, but it wasn't as fun as, say, Castle in the Sky, where you had like that had sky pirates and stuff too.
Yeah,
and this is sort of doing a similar
adventure.
Yeah, it was much more of an adventure. Like Castle in the Sky, it kind of took you into these sort of new realms. It sort of took you into these new places that were kind of exciting. Whereas Pom Poko, not Pom Poko, Porco Rosso, God, they're so similar. It was kind of just like post-war. He's Italian. He's an Italian man pig.
Yeah, well, it's set in the Mediterranean, but I don't know if he's Italian.
Yeah. And like I know kind of like looking at it, there's been a lot of talk about the airships and how they're sort of based on actual airships, and like I'm sure if you're into that kind of thing, you'd find that fascinating. But I don't think there was enough there to hold my attention. Like it did get a couple of laughs out of me, but it wasn't it probably was a bit too, like, I wasn't quite sure who it was appealing to is probably the other thing. I was a bit of a lost audience on that one. And I think I sort of made this comment also that if the story had have followed the girl, if it had been from her perspective and she sort of sees this mysterious man who is a fighter pilot in the sky and she wants to help him build this awesome aircraft, and we sort of saw her story more about her trying to prove herself, again kind of keeping that childhood whimsical I have a dream type thing going, it might have been a lot more interesting. But because it's from his perspective, and he's kind of just dirty old pig man.
They'll never explain how he became a pig, and he was the only one, I think. Like the town and in the place, like, yeah.
There's that good, like, there is an interesting scene visually where you see all the pilots kind of, are they going, like, ascending to heaven? And they're all kind of like a flock of pilots. And that's really interesting. And we assume that because he doesn't get to ascend, he turns into a pig. He's like,
maybe because he saw this kind of thing, I could return, he became something else.
Yeah. But then even how is she, what was so special about her to bring him back to human form? Like it never sort of,
maybe, I don't know, some kind of it's purity.
Maybe? Sure, purity. But yeah, it sort of never gave enough warrant to why he's a pig. Like, was he chauvinistic in his previous life, and so therefore he had to wear that, and then she was meant to bring his heart out and make him more forgiving of his ways. It never really touches on any of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like it probably is sitting at the bottom of my list. However, let's now move on to 1994's Pom Poko.
Oh, you love that one.
Which took 2 sessions to watch. And to be quite honest, we started watching it and I did laugh quite a bit. Like I did laugh at it. Mm-hmm. But I was laughing because
they were trying to save their home.
Sure. I was laughing because of how many testicles were in this thing.
Yeah.
I think this was the strangest film I've seen yet, where they've tried to do something creative.
And it's so natural, like so. Well, this human part, but I don't know.
You're talking about the testicles?
Yeah. It was so many.
There's a lot of testicles in this movie, and there's a lot of testicle references in this movie. Like the fact that there's this fight. See, like not only do they use their testicles to like blind the vehicles with like a giant blanket.
They get a blanket, yeah.
But they're also using their testicles to fight police officers by squashing them against each other. And like, it's funny. It is funny, but it's also like
too long.
It's like, who thought of this?
Miyazaki did.
No, well, this was directed by the other guy.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy that he's the one who directs only Yesterday and Grave of the Fireflies. Mm-hmm. And then this one comes along and it's like, well, doesn't feel like your kind of film at all. Except for maybe the ending. Like you kind of liked the ending.
Yeah.
You sort of felt like it sort of redeemed itself a little bit with the ending. But then even the ending to me is a little muddled because it was really sort of saying that it was kind of like this weird acceptance that these raccoons had accepted that humans are kind of more superior and it's just better to live with them, but they had somehow taken a bit of that natural element and tried to incorporate it into their landscape, which sure, I guess we all try to plant a tree out the front of our house, but I don't know, like maybe for me that message was a little bit muddled as to what it was even trying to say by the end of the film. It is way too long.
Yeah.
That is the biggest problem I think with this film. It is way too long. And the other reason I think it feels way too long is it's kind of narrated.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of these like people narrating the actions of what's going on. And it's not really ever focusing on, like you sort of have that one main character who's got the kid, who has the kids, that raccoon that ends up sort of having the baby raccoons when they're told don't have sex, and it's spring. It's springtime. I mean, what can a raccoon do? I just found that there wasn't really a clear character, or there wasn't a really interesting arc enough for a main character. It felt almost more like it was like this oddball documentary. I think it was way too long. I think it could have lost half an hour and been like a 90-minute movie. I do think it was funny, but I think it was like, why am I laughing at this? Like it's funny because it's got these jokes in it that I didn't think I'd be sitting there watching testicles do a lot of action. Which is fine. Like, I guess kids would love that. Like, I guess it's silly enough for a child to live like that. But also, the other thing I didn't really like is the transformation stuff.
They could transform in anything.
They could transform into anything, but then, like, so they're a raccoon, but then they can turn into a cute raccoon, which they prefer to be cute raccoons, like Care Bears. And then they can transform into humans or inanimate objects. Like there's a part where they turn into bear traps. And it's like, is that, when they're a bear trap, is that them just biting someone? Or like, is that actually does that have the ability to kill someone?
Just to scare them.
Yeah. Like I did like the parade sequence with all the crazy, like very sort of psychedelic, which is a lot of sort of Buddhist Hinduism type storytelling going on. A lot of like spiritual folklore stories that are being told in the film. But I think that's also the other problem is there's just way too much it's talking about. It's trying to cover so much that it's just like it's a big bag of lollies and it's just too much. And yeah, I think the transformation stuff just got a bit like it's a cool idea, but it's also it needed a little bit more like grounding as to the rules of it, almost as to what they could and couldn't transform into. The fact that they like transform into humans and decide to work a 9-to-5 job, like
that's
like because like he's on the train at the end and he's got a suitcase. I'm like, but the suitcase is fake. That's just you. Like, what's in it? Can you carry stuff? Like, it confuses the hell out of me as to how that transformation stuff occurs. I believe Pom Poko at this point in time, without looking up other films, has the lowest audience rating. Which I think I can completely understand why that would be. It still made a lot of money. You know, it wasn't stopping Studio Ghibli in any way. But see, this is tough. Do I think it's worse than? What would I prefer to watch? Would I prefer to watch Porco Rosso or would I prefer to watch Pom Poko if I had to do it again? And that's tough because I feel like runtime, Porco Rosso was 93 minutes. Pom Poko is over 2 hours.
And the locations of Porco Rosso is nice.
Yeah.
Like it's set in Ireland and it's this Italian background.
Yeah, it's an interesting location. I'm trying to think where this all sits on my list. I don't think any of these 3 films we've watched goes any higher than what my list already is.
Yeah.
I think only I think it's almost in order actually. It's sort of progressively gotten worse. No, well, like I think honestly, my list stays as it is, and then it really is Only Yesterday. See, Only Yesterday maybe could go up. I'm just
go up from.
No, I don't think it does.
Totoro, you have it.
No, see, I think Totoro is a better take on childhood.
Yeah, because the little sister is following the big sister, like, and it's very.
Yeah.
I don't know, very real.
Yeah. No, I think it's still. I think it literally my list stays, and we are literally going to put Only Yesterday next. I think Porco Rosso just beats out Pom Poko, only just.
Okay.
See, that doesn't sound right. No, I think it does. I think it does on the basis that it's a shorter movie, and perhaps it was probably just a bit more coherent. Yeah. I think Pom Poko is just too much of a mixed bag. It's just too messy in comparison. And even though it did get some big laughs out of me, I think those big laughs were more out of just confusion than necessarily like, this is really funny, it's making me laugh. Like, it just got to the point where like, oh, how many more testicle bits can you throw into this? Yeah, so I think that's where my list stands at this point in time.
Okay.
So the next couple, we have Whispers of the Heart. You seen that one?
Yeah, that's okay.
Whispers of the Heart's a good one? Okay.
Yeah.
Princess
Mononoke, yeah.
That's a good one?
I love that one.
Okay. And My Neighbors, the Yambadas?
That is very different.
Okay.
Compared to the other ones. Like also visually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going off your reaction, there's 2 really good films coming up.
Yeah. yeah.
It's going to redeem the 90s.
Yeah, we're in the 90s.
We're up to 1995.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
and that's Miyazaki, yeah. See?
Yeah, well I think My Neighbor the Yamadas? Am I saying that right? I think this is this guy's last film. Takahata? I take it that I'm saying he's right. It's his last movie that I think he directs. Oh no, he co-directs. No, he writes one more, but this is his last directing film coming up. So, oh no, I've got that wrong.
Direct?
No, he does do the Tales of Princess Kaguya. Kaguya? I'm hoping I'm saying these names right. My Japanese is horrible at pronouncing. Okay, there you go, Dane. So that is the next couple of reviews.